Hey folks, how you doing today? We want to talk about the Coinbase IPO. Tom, you were chatting with me about Coinbase. It's all we've been thinking about here today, right? April
No,
14th.
Coinbase is not all I've been thinking about, all right? Coinbase is just one of the many news-jacking titles that we're gonna tie our horse to when we do these live streams in order to make sure that people watch. Look,
Oh,
I
come on, man. We talked for like an hour today about Coinbase. I remember a couple of days ago, you were like, you told me, oh, Coinbase had come out and it could really tank Bitcoin or really do well with it. So for like the past 2 days, honestly, I've been on pins and needles trying to figure out what's going to happen. Like what?
do you even know what Coinbase is?
Okay,
Do
first
you
of,
even know what it is?
yeah, Coinbase is like the PayPal for crypto.
I mean, that's like one of the small things it can do. Yeah, it's like the
That's what
PayPal for
you
crypto.
told me. That's what you
Yeah,
told me. Unless
yeah, but it's also where you can trade and buy crypto. Yeah.
look, before this Coinbase, all I was looking for is Bitcoin to break its high, okay? And it was its previous ATH, and it was teasing it, it was teasing it, it was teasing it, and then bam, it broke through it before Coinbase IPO, before Coinbase got listed.
I
So
mean,
then I was like,
right in the morning, right? Right at, like 2 AM or 3 AM. So it's, like, right on the screws there.
yeah, exactly. So it passes high, and I'm all excited. I'm like, finally, because I don't know. You're telling me it might crash down, it might correct, So I'm looking for it to break that high. So then it breaks the high, and
Uh-huh.
then I'm all excited, and then now I have to wait. Coinbase comes out, and I'm like, is Coinbase going to tank Bitcoin? What's going on here?
Yeah, so, that's one of my favorite things when it comes to, what's called FinTwit. You probably don't know about this, financial Twitter.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
I know about FinTwit.
those of us that don't know on FinTwit. So, one of the things you sometimes see in markets is what's called a market top, where just when the euphoria and fervor are at its all-time peak, something happens like this, and boom, that's what tanks the market. Like the prices never go higher than that for the next a few years, and so everyone was worried about that because people go, an IPO is like a classic way that a stock market peaks. Pets.com in a dot-com bubble. You had actually a few. I should know this off the top of my head, but basically these stock market bubbles, or at least these sectors, these bubblicious sectors, often peak with some big thing that comes up. WeWork, you probably heard a few months back, was supposed to come out with this multi-billion-dollar, I think the first $1 trillion IPO, and then before it even got to
But
market,
COVID got them. I mean,
no,
bad
no,
business practices, sure, but people not being going
no, no.
into
We
offices and working.
WeWork was one of the classic things. I mean, they started WeWork before people weren't going to offices. Like their model was built on, let's get as many of these locations as possible, and we'll make money at scale. Which is one of my favorite financial jokes. They'll be like, okay, we lose 20 cents on every dollar, but we'll make it up with volume. And so WeWork was very much with this. You had this charismatic leader, spending all this money, looking all cool, putting on all these events, and people go, "I'm going to be part of the next big IPO." You have to understand, there's like different types of investors, but there's the investors who know we're here just to get in at the ground floor, so that when the stock IPOs, we can dump into the market, we could sell to all the people who now have to buy it at twice as high and who couldn't get in before. And then you have the people who buy afterwards, hoping they're going to buy high and sell higher. So it's just this big scam. It's just this big money making scam that the people go. And now we had that with SPACs. You don't know what SPACs are, but they're these.
I know what SPACs are. SPACs are a way for a company to buy another company without having to. They create a shell company of sorts to buy a company to make it easier for mergers to occur.
That's a pretty good description for a pie-eyed drunk such as yourself. That's
Hey,
pretty
and
good.
I'm not even a fin dummy or fin nitwit. What was it again?
Because for the SPACs, what happens with the SPAC is that you're supposed to have, I mean, because of different machinations, a baseline of $10 per share, and that basically you're guaranteed if you get it at $10 or under, that you could always liquidate your shares for $10. That value is held within the SPAC, and so it's supposed to be a sure bet. You can never lose more than $10. So when it gets up to $11 or $12 or $13, people go, "Well, I'm just risking one or two or three," and when it goes to 20 and 30, well, I always have this 10, and so but the people who got in might have gotten in at 250, at $5, right? They don't care. They're fine to sell it as soon as it opens on the market. They're not looking to ride this all the way to the top. Anyways, so Coinbase, the Coinbase IPO has this sort of like same fervor to it. So people go, okay, when Coinbase IPOs, because everyone's going to be all in, that's a perfect time for it to be a market top. Bitcoin will tank from there. What I find interesting is that just like that is also like a narrative that people have. One of the narratives you can have as well is if everyone thinks one thing's going to happen, the other thing's going to happen. And so, because everyone thought that this was going to be a market top for Bitcoin, I go, great, time to buy more Bitcoin. Like that's the time to do it. Wait till everyone sells into it. I mean, hey, we had a sell off. Like Bitcoin was of the cryptocurrencies was like down today, and then Ethereum
But
was up.
it was down, but it wasn't down below its
I know it's like it was a. I think the
below
most I
its
saw it was a 1 point something percent,
62.
2%.
Yeah,
Let's call it.
I thought at 62. Right now it's at 63,
No, we're talking
143.
in percentage points, Peter. The number doesn't matter. Don't be one of those people who talks about the stock market or an asset in well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the number is. It only
Dude,
matters to the person who bought one whole Bitcoin, and even to them, they care about the percentage change.
look, Tom, when we talked about ATH all-time high, is
Uh-huh.
that a percentage or is that the nominal amount
No, no.
of the
There's a
Bitcoin?
reason why we talk about all-time highs. We say all-time high because we don't care what the number is. We just care it's that it moved beyond a certain point on the chart. We could care less what that point is.
All I'm saying is that before it wasn't passing 61,784.60, and then it passed 61,784.60,
Yeah, but we don't say the
and we're
all-time high
happy
is
about that.
61,000 whatever. We say all-time high, and when it passes all-time high, it means it's bullish, that it's now more bullish than it ever was before. That's all we
Okay, when
care
you
about.
say we, are you talking about the twits on in financial Twitter, or are you
People who know.
talking about regular
People who
people?
know.
Because regular people, I talk to regular people, and we go,
Okay,
"Hey, Bitcoin's at 62,000 today."
so talk to
In
regular
our
people.
personal chats, we go 63K, 64K. I mean, we're not writing percentage gains.
We're not writing the specific number either. We're trying to be as general as possible just to show some incremental move.
Tom, I write 60 when it hit 64K. I messaged in our group
Yeah,
64K.
but you don't do 64,237 and 67 cents.
No, I'm rounding to the nearest
Exactly,
whole
exactly.
number.
Because you care about the move and not about the specific. I'm glad we can clear that up.
Okay, so Coinbase, good or bad for Bitcoin? Okay, all your talk is not
It's
helping
nothing.
me
It's
to
nothing for
understand.
Bitcoin. It's nothing for Bitcoin.
I mean, it's
Keith
nothing. It's
McCullough.
correlated. People who want to invest
No,
in
no, no,
Bitcoin
no,
but don't want to buy
no.
their underlying asset, they
It,
can buy
it
Coinbase as a proxy.
no. So that's the thing, right? There's two types of people. There's the people who can't buy Bitcoin or any type of cryptocurrency because of the regulations that they have. They're not able to buy. They're a registered investment advisor. They're part of a hedge fund. They have all kinds of different fiduciary responsibilities that prevents them from buying crypto assets. And so when you have a stock like Coinbase or MSTR or Galaxy Holdings or Tesla or whatever that is somehow correlated to Bitcoin, they go, okay, we're going to get Bitcoin exposure by buying the stock. But regular people like you and me shouldn't be worried about, oh, I want to get a stock that's correlated with, or actually we should, but in general, we shouldn't be like, well, I don't have any crypto and the stock that is correlated with the crypto, that's what I want to be buying because we could just buy the crypto directly.
I hear you. I hear it's a good idea to buy both.
Well,
I mean, I
if
heard
you're
this from the Coinbase CEO, but you know,
Well, this is one thing I was going to talk about because I do like correlated stocks because uh, one of the things that I find for people is that if they have their crypto, let's say they're a hodler, they don't want to sell it. So what happens if you want to still
trade.
trade the crypto, but you can't bring yourself to sell the tokens, or you find it too much of a hassle? Well, what you can do is, or you can't have it in your tax free savings account or retirement savings account or whatever. Well, if you buy one of the correlated stocks, then you can buy and sell that as the price fluctuates without having to sell your crypto. And what's interesting, actually, I should show you this real quick. Um, so there's Coinbase, this MSTR, this Tesla, this Galaxy, and these are stocks that correlated with Bitcoin. But
Mhm.
whereas Bitcoin, so I think Bitcoin went up. Let's see here, Bitcoin went up. Bitcoin went up over the last year. Bitcoin went up 425%. Right, four times your money. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Ethereum went up 515%. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. But uh, MSTR, that Michael Saylor company, MicroStrategies, that went up 500%, right? So same thing as Ethereum and better than Bitcoin. So if you had for the last 12 months MSTR, you beat the Bitcoin crowd. More than that, if you bought Galaxy Holdings, this a Canadian company that lists on the Canadian Stock Exchange, that went up in the same year 3,631%,
I
36
I
times
keep
your money. 36 times your money Galaxy went up, right?
so
So
why are we buying Bitcoin?
so
Why are
that's
we
one of the
all in on Galaxy?
well, that's one of the reasons people want to buy like Coinbase or something like that because sometimes a correlated stock can go up way higher than the actual underlying. But when the stock IPOs at $400, uh, Galaxy was there at 50 cents or whatever, a dollar. All right, fine. When it goes from a dollar to $36, you've made 36 times your money. But something IPOs at 400, you got to really have Tesla balls in order to watch that go all the way up and up and up. Not that this doesn't happen. Not that it doesn't happen, but it's no $10 spec. So I look at
I get
Coinbase
it.
and look. Did I buy a share of it? Yes. Yes, I was there during GameStop. I'm not gonna not buy a meme stock. Are you kidding me? But it's just a taster, just a taster to see what happens. Uh,
So you don't think Coinbase is going to go ahead?
no, I think it could moon. I think it could moon. I think it could
No,
become
no,
one
I
of these
mean,
toy
how
stocks.
it's I care about how it's gonna affect Bitcoin, okay? I know you
It's not going to
trade.
affect Bitcoin.
I'm just in on Bitcoin. That's all I really care about.
It's not
I
going to
got
affect
the
Bitcoin.
other altcoins. It's
It's
not
not
gonna
going to affect.
even generate interest in cryptos and legitimize the space?
Not so much so that it's gonna move the needle drastically. See, what happens is that when you're investing, you have to have, your time horizons correct, right? So you can have let's consider it a short term, midterm, and a, long term, time horizon. Now, sure, in the short term, it could cause some fluctuations, but in the long term, a 2%, 5%, 10% move down for Bitcoin is noise. It's nothing. It's nothing. If it made Bitcoin move by 20%, it would still be pretty much nothing, especially over a long term. If we're thinking um, uh, Bitcoin
Okay,
generally has
Tom,
a
I turn
200%
on
gain per year,
how much
what's a
gain?
10%, 200% gain on average per year, over the last 12 years? Who cares about 10% of that move? Like, it doesn't
Well,
matter.
I care about the more we have working in that space, the more things that's going on. Just like the altcoins, the more interest and energy and focus. And I liked turning on CNBC and listening to Jim Cramer going, "Friggin' buy Coinbase." I mean, he's totally on Coinbase. He wants to be paid in crypto. Like that's what I want to hear on mainstream news. I want to
No,
hear
no,
people talk
Peter,
about it.
this is not what I like to hear. This is not what I want to hear. When I hear Bitcoin's moving up and there's zero noise about it online, zero noise about it on the mainstream media, that's what you want. You want Bitcoin to quietly gain traction, quietly go up 100, 200% while people are busy talking about GameStop. That's what you want. What you don't want is for all eyes to be on Bitcoin because what happens is that yeah, you can get the short term move where you get this it drives up. Let's say it freaking goes up 50%. Well, then that same euphoria could turn against you. Coinbase, something can happen where the data gets hacked or the CEO embezzles money or it turns out it's owned by Chinese or whatever the hell it is. And then all of a sudden people lose faith in that. The stock drops by 80% or gets delisted or whatever. And then people go, oh, that means bad things for Bitcoin because all the headlines say things are bad for Bitcoin. And then it drops Bitcoin. And then it could take a year and a half before people shake off that nervousness and get back inside of it. I want the least amount of visibility on something that is already gaining traction on its own. So thank you very much, Coinbase, for the spotlight. We were doing pretty well on our own without you. On our next story, how Peter is wrong in most situations. Peter,
Okay, so Bitcoin, let's say it hits, it's one of the predictions I hear is 100,000 by the end of the year. Is that too fast? Is that too fast of a rise?
forget predictions for Bitcoin.
Okay, if it gets to 100,000 in a year, is that too fast?
It depends how it got there. It would depend on the manner of your arrival.
Okay, let's say it rises steadily on average between now and the end of the year. Okay, 100,000. Is that too fast?
It depends what the volatility is at the time.
Okay, does it
You're just talking about
200,
price.
200,000, 200,000.
Is that too fast?
Yeah,
It
too fast.
depends. If it's
Okay,
moving
it gets to 1 million by the end of this year. Too fast?
mhm. It depends.
It still depends.
Yes.
Depends on what?
It depends is if it's because of adoption. If it turns out it goes up to that because 3 sovereign states decide they're gonna adopt it as part of their reserve currency, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, yeah, they're sanctioning it, and the government sanctioning it, they realize it's really good and a lot of people are getting in, it's actually being used, the network effects are legitimate, yeah. If it goes to that because the supply is squeezed to such an extent that the spread on the bid ask is the current price and the next price is 1 million, no, no, thank you.
See, that's my problem with all this stuff. Okay, there's so many factors involved, so many factors. If this and that, if this and that, it's like, dude. Okay, how am I supposed to get my head around this? Tom, you're like, hey, you gets it bigger, bigger, but now I got like a bunch of altcoins. This Doge today. You send me a text. Is the chart of Doge is. Were we supposed to be in on Doge? I thought Doge was a joke crypto.
It is a joke with crypto.
So what the
It's a
heck?
joke
Elon Musk is
crypto that
tweeting
went up
out Doge.
50% today.
So what the heck? What are we supposed to pay attention to? Like it all just seems. How do you talk to somebody who's like afraid? You go, oh, that's a multi-factor, multi-level, prong, multi-dimensional process. You're not going to sell that. That's not going to become part of the way things work.
Well, that's the beauty with the beauty with Bitcoin and crypto, that normally a company, if you're buying their stock, it depends on the management of the company, its revenues, its earnings, the industry that it's in. There's all of these different factors that come into play as to whether or not this company could survive or not, right? If there could be, if they're first to market, if their competitors are coming after them, if right, all kinds of things can happen. The CEO can die, blah blah blah. And so, when you're buying a share of a company, you're buying a share of their earnings, but then you also have these other baggages that you have to deal with: technical analysis and fundamental analysis and momentum trading for what's going to happen with the price. But with cryptocurrency, it's not like that. With cryptocurrency, you have this network effect. You have the value of the network is increasing proportional to the number of members of the network. I mean, we know this with Facebook. If you have one person on Facebook, it's not worth anything. If you have a million people on Facebook, it's worth more. And if you have a billion on Facebook, now you're worth it's a geometric expansion of value when it comes to the value of Facebook. And so the stock price for Facebook tries to correlate with the value of the network to some degree. But here with crypto, the price that you're seeing on the chart is almost basically equal to the value, because when you buy the asset, it's different than when you're buying a share. By buying it, you are participating in it. Whereas someone who's buying a share of Facebook might not have a Facebook account, or someone who buys a share of Facebook might have, or someone might have 10 accounts on Facebook, but no shares
So that does
of
that
Facebook.
make that a simpler thing? Then it's
Yes.
less
So if you
factors.
see the price go up in crypto,
It means more people are participating.
you can generalize it to that, and that going, oh, the price is going up, then the value of the network is going up. That's why it
All right.
becomes easier. It becomes an easier bet than anything else. Even if it wasn't increasing by leaps and bounds, it still becomes an easier sell. So it was a harder sell back when Bitcoin. I mean, I know it was a harder sell when Bitcoin was back at a penny. They couldn't convince me to get it for free. World of Warcraft is giving out free bitcoins. I'm like,
We would have
but
bought burgers and swords
and
with that anyway. I
pizzas
mean,
and
would
killed
we have
ourselves
helped
3 years ago. Yeah,
and and then been all up in the stress when it was at 9,000,
definitely.
20,000, and man, like I don't know
Definitely.
that
Yeah,
we
that's how I
weren't interested
rationalize
in
it to
it back
myself
then.
too. That's how I make myself sleep better at night too. But the price now makes it so that you have to hear about it. Like, everyone has to talk about it, and then that's the publicity I want for Bitcoin. I could care less what James Cramer has to say about it, frankly.
Look, okay, you might not care what Mr. Kramer has to say, but the rest of us who can't parse multi-Bayesian economic theory.
It's multifractal.
We need guys like Jim
What is the
Cramer,
equation?
okay? And aren't you trying to be like a Jim Cramer type who's just going to try to give us the straight dope?
Bite your tongue. Jim Cramer doesn't give you the straight dope. Have you seen past videos of Jim Cramer? He's a shyster. That guy will do whatever it takes in order to make money. I think he's on CNBC.
You're
because it
not
was good luck.
describing you're not describing anybody bad. You're describing Elon Musk. That's what it sounds like. You're describing Elon Musk.
I don't trust
All
Elon
right.
Musk either.
And what's wrong? Okay, I'm not going to open that kind of worms.
I
We'll save
like
that for
Elon
another
Musk.
time.
I like Elon Musk. But I'm not gonna trust him. I'm not gonna trust him with my Twitter account, I'll tell you that. He can pump
All right.
Doge, though. He can pump Doge.
All right. So Coinbase, I didn't have to worry about it before when it comes to Bitcoin. I don't have to worry about it
There are better
now.
stocks. There are better stocks that are correlated with, get Galaxy, get, HUT. It's a minor. I mean, a lot of these things are in Canadian listings
Is
because,
MicroStrategy as a good proxy, or
well,
they got a billion
MicroStrategy is like
plus?
another one of these Coinbases, except that what is MicroStrategy is at what is it at now? Is that 600, $800 per share? It's like you want to spend $800 for a share for the hope that it goes up to $1,300. Freaking just
Might as
buy
well
Bitcoin.
buy
Just buy
ADA.
Bitcoin.
Ethereum and ADA seem to be somewhat correlated with Bitcoin.
Well, all these cryptocurrencies that are not utility tokens
Sorry,
are
Siri.
correlated with Bitcoin.
Siri just. Anyway,
No, I like being interrupted. Keep doing that.
no, I was interrupted and I reacted,
It's
so I
fun.
wanted people to know why I was reacting. I wasn't
It's
reacting to
fun.
what you were saying because I couldn't
People were
hear
looking
what
at
you were
me because I
saying.
was
I was hearing
talking,
what.
but now we made it
No,
awkward.
go on, go on.
As I was
Mr.
saying,
Mr. Suit and Tie Man. You think it's so special because you wear a
oh,
suit and tie?
this whole thing,
This whole thing.
I didn't even notice
Uh-huh.
it.
You
Oh god.
uh-huh. Right.
Oh, thanks for noticing. No, uh, in the United States, it's hard for the Americans to really get something to that's correlated with like a stock that matches a Bitcoin because um, we have tons of stuff here in Canada. We have miners listed on the stock exchange. We have Galaxy, like a financial holding company. We have the ETF, BTCC. There's all kinds of ways you can get exposure. But that's one of the reasons the stock goes so high. In it's $400 for Coinbase and $800 for MSTR and hundreds of dollars for Tesla because so many people trying to get exposure cram into there. But as more as it's easier for people to adopt Bitcoin or other cryptos directly, you're going to see these stock prices decrease. Because why would you buy in a proxy for it? But whatever.
Doesn't
Those
that
are market
help?
trades, so
Won't
keep it out.
won't it, won't people start buying Bitcoin through Coinbase, and won't that help Bitcoin price go up if more people have easier access? You told me you signed up to Coinbase and it was super easy in order for you to go and buy some crypto. So won't that help
I
Bitcoin?
don't use Coinbase.
No, I know, but
I
just
only
for
recently
regular
signed up to
people.
Coinbase because they have basically their PayPal equivalent, which I thought it was super slick, very fantastic. Like their interface was very very smooth. But even their app where and their website where you're able to buy crypto is very smooth and legitimate. But my problem is that look, I have yet to hear of any of these exchanges or online wallets or whatever that don't have shady practices. Even the one that I use, CoinSquare, I think they had their president and CFO get ousted because they embezzled money and they had to, and I
Who
use them
among
because,
us? Who among us? Let he without sin cast the first Bitcoin. Come on now.
well, sometimes it's not even something illegal. Like I forget which exchange it was where the owner died and he was the only one who had access to the keys, everyone's Bitcoin keys.
No.
So no one could access the hundreds of millions of dollars that he had. His wife couldn't act. His wife was being harassed, death threats, and all that. They're like, "Fix this," and he's like, "There's no way. Like, it's secure. There's nothing." Only he knew the phrase. Only he knew the.
I memorized my 24 words.
Okay,
You want to know 'em? You want to
now
hear
you're the weakness, Peter. Now you're gonna be tied to a chair with fire underneath your nuts, and they're gonna get those 24 words from you.
'em? Look, man, it's the price you pay for security, okay? That guy who died with those things, he just proved beyond a shadow of a doubt how secure his system was, okay? At one point of failure, one point of failure. All right, Tom, I think we could talk about Coinbase all day long. Do you have anything else you want to say about Coinbase? Anything else we should pay attention to? Maybe a source that we could, I don't know what.
No, nothing about Coinbase. I would just say pay attention to uh, pay attention to the narrative around it and try to have this eye of if you hear a lot of things on the news on the mainstream news or from mainstream people, um, a good rule of thumb is fade the news. You do the opposite of whatever they tell you on the stations. It's either that or you're way too late to get out. Like they're talking about it and it's already going down. So when they talk
Yeah.
about it, do the opposite. They go, "Oh, GameStop is going up too much. There's no way." Buy GameStop, right? Coinbase is going to top. Buy Bitcoin. Like do the opposite, and you'll generally do well.
If you love what we're doing, I really encourage you to go to patreon.com/happyforachange and become a patron. For $10 a month, you're going to get access to these live streams. The live streams are free, but if you want the recording of the live stream, you can get the audio.
Yeah, the audio's for
$10 a month, and you'll get the video for $25 a month. You'll also get access to our Telegram group where you're going to access to chat, text chat, and voice chat. We're going to be on there on a regular basis. So this is the beginning of something really fun. Tom and Peter Hartman here, Sacred Prophet, Tom Hartman, and Bad Guru here. We're here to help you out. And if you have any questions, please feel free. Thank you, everybody who's watching this. I really appreciate it. Tom, you had fun today?
So much fun. I can't wait till we talk about portfolio asset allocations and different way of managing risk in the future. It's going to be so exciting.
It's going to be so great. I know you think, I don't need to know this information. You need to know this information. Subscribe to this channel, facebook.com/happyforachange if you want to join the groups, or you can just subscribe to us here over on youtube.com/happyforachange. Here's where we are.